What is cooking today in the wide-eyed way? Well, I've actually already cooked them, but I've made homemade baked beans. I'm Natasha Hodge. I'm here to help you get absolutely the best from your body every time you eat. It's all about fueling yourself to the point where everything is balanced and everything is working as it should be, because your body wants to get you back to the weight that you're supposed to be, and it wants to get you to full health. That's all it's trying to do every single second of every day. And what happens is we by accident put things in the way of that happening, and so then your body is trying to cope with foods that you believe are helping you and aren't helping you. Unfortunately, we've been sold to, we've got health halo labels everywhere. And so what you're trying to do is, locate the things that will make your body thrive. Now, obviously, I talk a lot about low carbohydrate foods. I'm not super low carb and I'm not keto and all those sorts of things. I'm all about just having real good food going in that literally doesn't do us any harm. And a staple food in the UK and many countries, but here in the UK, we love a bit of beans on toast. And what I did was on my LinkedIn profile, I asked the question of people what were their go-to meals that they absolutely loved, because I wanted to see if I've got a recipe that covers it. And pretty much all the things that came up, I do. I have a better for you version of it. But I didn't have a better for you version of baked beans. And it is a comfort food, and I don't want to say to somebody, right, that's it, you're never going to have a baked bean again. But I need you to understand about, Heinz baked beans. I've titled this, in fact, I forgot to title it on Insta, Homemade Baked Beans versus Heinz. And the reason is, of course, it's got stuff in it that our bodies don't want. And again, it's going to have to cope with that being ingested. Now, beans as a rule are, quite high in carbohydrate, but having them every now and again and a little bit of beans on top of a low carb roll, for example. In fact, the person that had posted about the baked beans liked, I think it was cheese on toast with baked beans and then some poached eggs. Poached eggs, fantastic, fill your boots. Don't have quite as many beans, and obviously a low carb roll isn't going to impact your blood sugar. Then we've got the Heinz beans, and obviously here we're talking about the no added sugar ones, and I talk a lot about sugar and it not being good for us, and so you might think, well, I'm going to go for the non-sugar version of it. But very, very recently, more and more studies have found that any type of sweetener isn't great for us. And these particular ones use a thing called, have I written it down yet? Steviol glycosides. And again, because it sounds a bit like stevia, you might think, well, that sounds nice and natural. And there's no way of knowing in this particular product whether the steviol glycosides that they use, that Heinz uses, are from natural origin or from chemical origin. So why take the chance? You just don't need to. And then you've also got things like natural flavourings. And again, you think, well, natural flavourings? That sounds like a, fairly innocuous statement, and all sounds quite healthy. But I just want to read you this extract from a fantastic book by Joanna Blythman called Swallow This. and this is talking about natural flavourings, okay? The production method for making natural flavourings can also entail extraction using solvents, propane, butane, methyl acetate, ethanol, acetone, nitrous oxide, hexane, ethyl methyl, ketone, dichloromethane, and then like loads of other things. Such solvents, we are assured, must be used in compliance with good manufacturing practice, and any residues or derivatives left in the flavouring must be technically unavoidable. Well, they're going to be technically unavoidable if they are now attached to those natural flavourings, and then they go in your product, and then they go in your miracle body, and so on and so forth. You don't want any kind of chemical in there at all, because it accumulates. You're, eating it 2 or 3 times a week, maybe daily, if you're not looking after what you're eating. And so it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And the fact that I made these in 20 minutes and they cost less than if you buy these things. I know you'll say, well, it's convenient. It's not convenient when it cream crackers that beautiful body of yours further down the line. This is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? Because if you're buying product after product and consuming things every time you eat that contain these things that look on the surface as if they're good for you and they're not, then you are storing up trouble, and that is not convenient. So price-wise, if I had to extrapolate and say per kilo, a kilo of Heinz baked beans is £3.11, homemade is £2.77, and that includes the electricity costs as well. And you're in charge. You're completely and utterly in charge of what went into it. Yeah, you do have to do another step, which is making your own tomato sauce. And again, making own tomato sauce takes 5 minutes of prep, probably not even that. It's just measuring out some different herbs and spices and then leaving it to cook for 15 minutes on the hob. That is not tricky, and you end up with a lot more than that. You end up with a whole jar of that, and that is literally peanuts in the cost wise. So it's a lot cheaper than normal tomato sauce, and doesn't have the fructose sugar in it either. So yeah, I make a lot of effort because literally this is the most priceless bit of kit you own. You probably spend, some people spend more time worrying about their tech or their car, lovingly cleaning their car, making sure the car is fueled and oiled and all that sort of stuff, than they do with the body that is going to get you to the end of your life, that's going to get you everywhere you want to go. And it's the basis for everything you do. Again, nice, product kind of thing that really sways people to thinking this is a really healthy kind of food, full of protein. Well, the jury is out on whether plant protein even gives us enough protein, and it certainly isn't gram for gram. You don't assimilate, and the protein isn't as bioavailable as in animal products. And it also, the brilliant one that people always say back to me is the complex carbohydrate thing. Your body doesn't care whether it's complex or not. It's a carbohydrate. It is going to raise your blood sugar, and therefore it's going to impact the insulin, and it's the insulin being high all the time in our bodies that causes pretty much every single problem that we have with chronic health. So 20 minutes or just a quick trip to the shops. These will go in the freezer. You can, obviously this is just one can of haricot beans, so this is just one batch. But you could make, you know, if you're a big baked bean lover, you know, and you don't have to be low carb or follow what I do, but if you want to eat a better for you version, you can knock the, you know, 4 times that up and chuck it in the freezer. But in a jar in the fridge, and they'll last for ages for you. So I hope that's helped. Yeah, it's a little bit more effort. You are so worth it. Every cell in your body should be celebrated like it's worth its weight in, well, it is priceless, as I've already said. I'm Natasha Hodge. I want you to get the best from every single moment of your lives. Always. And that will mean you will go on to be healthy, full of energy, vitality, and you'll lose all the weight you need to lose as a side effect. And you will live life to the full. You take care of yourselves, and of course I will see you with more health related stuff next week. Take care, bye bye.